We're back on schedule. So let's get started. I'm excited to introduce Aaron Burns, Jenny Jacobs, and Josh Salmons from Texas Tech University. And they're going to be presenting AI literacy workshops and Padlet, librarian experiences in applying a discussion-based tool. And again, they're going to do a 20-minute presentation, and then we'll leave about 5 minutes or so for questions. But feel free to put questions in the chat as we go along. If you put a capital Q and a dash before, it makes it easy for us to kind of flag those for later. So Josh, Jenny, and Aaron, go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So, like she mentioned, my name's Aaron Burns. I am one of the STEM librarians on campus. Jenny Jacobs is one of our other STEM librarians, and Josh Shelmans is one of our outreach. He is our outreach librarian, amongst other things. So, like she mentioned, we're going to talk about a few different things today. So we've broken this into sections. First section, we're going to talk about our AI literacy workshops, how they started to develop, what we're doing now. Padlet for active learning, and then we'll talk about AI in the humanities and Josh's guiding questions, which are kind of fun. So I always like to start my AI things with this meme because I feel like it's important, because sometimes we get really wrapped up in whether or not we can is whether or not we should. So a lot of these tools are being used in ways that you don't necessarily need to do them, right? We've already got templates, we've already got other things. You may not need to use an AI tool, right? So we need to understand what AI tools are. And so that's why we go into our workshop series. So in the fall of 2023, we ran a survey of instructors of record, which is what some of our faculty are called here when they teach classes, but that also includes staff members who teach classes, to determine the need for a workshop series. We asked our instructors questions related to their familiarity with AI research tools and generative tools like ChatGPT, but there was a whole other list like DALL-E and Midjourney and a bunch of other ones as well. Basing the workshops in an AI literacy definition, we then recognized recognizing the commodification of information in this process, we developed 8 workshops that were open to the campus community. And so what is that definition? So this is the one that's getting cited a lot. This Long and Majerico article from 2020, it talks about AI literacy being a set of competencies that enables individuals to critically evaluate AI tech, communicate and collaborate effectively with AI, and use AI as a tool online, at home, and in the workplace. If we're thinking about the types of skills, this is what I've come up with. So something like understanding the basic definitions of AI, effectively prompting and evaluating the tools themselves by questioning the design and implementation of the tools, understanding their background, why they're being used in this particular context, understanding that data processing and computing is not a neutral process. Okay, it's not, as much as we want to pretend that it is. And then discerning the benefits and challenges inherent in the technology and contextualizing the tools within current societal uses, and also recognizing the privacy and bias issues inherent in these issues. This is my AI reading list. This is something I have been interested in a while. I read Weapons of Math Destruction and Algorithms of Oppression when they came out. Here are a bunch of other ones. I highly recommend the one called Unmasking AI by Joy Buolamwini. If you haven't read her book yet, she talks about what it was like as a graduate student at MIT, where she had to put a mask on her face, a white mask, because the camera she was trying to train couldn't see her black face. Highly, highly recommend this book. Okay. It's written for people who are not computer scientists, so it's very understandable. All right, so our workshops, particularly the first one, we talk about how we're framing the rest of the workshop series, and we talk about how this critical examination on this was going to be focused on the understanding of the following terms, which are like techno-chauvinism, techno-ableism, the new Jim Code, and data feminism. And so if we look at those, that's what these definitions are. And the books, again, that were on that list that I just presented to you, talk about some of these things. So techno-chauvinism is the belief that our technology is always the solution. And there is an algorithmic sexism that is inherent in this technology being developed. This Meredith Broussard book is also very readable. Techno-ableism, that was a very short book, also recommended, that disability is being appealed to as a justification for this technological development. And then the new Jim Code is the employment of these new technologies that reflect and reproduce these existing inequities, but they are being promoted and perceived as being more objective or progressive than the discriminatory systems of a previous era. All right, and then data feminism. This one's a little longer. I'm not going to read it to you. I just did get the book though. But this is, again, thinking about data and its uses and its limits, being informed by direct experience and a commitment to action to fix things, and intersectional feminist thoughts. And so recognizing that power is not distributed equally, and this talks about data science in those terms. All right, so what did we do for spring 2024? These were the workshops that we did. We did them weekly. We did them at lunchtime, so at noon. We had faculty, staff, and students attend. So we had many graduate students attend, a lot of faculty and staff attend. Some undergraduates attended. We had them both in person and online. And what we were trying to get our campus community to think about, again, like I mentioned before, is whether or not we really need to use the tool and how we can evaluate the AI outputs and the tools themselves to determine whether or not they're needed. We created this online LibGuide, which has each of the sessions on it. I believe one of us can share that in the chat box in a minute. I definitely have, because I've got it up. But thanks, Jenny. It looks like you've got it. And so right now, all of these videos are on our media site. So they're kind of behind the Texas Tech wall. But these are available for our students. And the Padlets are still here too. So Jenny's going to talk about our Padlets in a minute. I can share some of this later too if you want. In the meantime, there are, you can see again the different sections here and all of those things. So how did we structure these sessions? We did them, each of the workshops was structured in the following basic way. There were 50-minute sessions. We introduced the topic for maybe 10 to 20 minutes. We tried to have a Padlet for discussion or activities. Sometimes we would do the activity first and then the discussion. And then the last part of the session would include information from the Padlets, discussion of the questions that people had, including space for those larger discussions about the tech itself. So we had a lot of people who wanted to talk about the environmental problems or the biases inherent in these things. More information, I did put them out on the ACRL Sandbox. So if you are interested, you can go there and download our outlines for the series and what kind of questions we used on our Padlets. These are just, again, very general outlines. I didn't include very many of our PowerPoints here because those were only like 4 or 5 slides most of the time. So those are all available online. And now it's time for Jenny.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. So, like Erin said, we really wanted to make this more of an active learning instead of a lecture series. So, like Lily is doing for this conference and using Padlet, Padlet is really a great way to engage your audience in the subject that you're learning. So librarian Lucas Maxwell, he said that Padlet is used for collective research. It can be used for collective research projects, collecting feedback after specific lessons or events, asking open-ended questions, brainstorming, and stuff like this. And really what we wanted to use it for is to really engage our audience. So as Erin said, we had people in person and online during these events. And so to be able to kind of capture everybody instead of just talking at them, we wanted them to kind of talk with us. And that's really hard to do when you have people online and in person. You know, it's easy to kind of engage people as you're looking at them. But as I'm sure you guys are aware, it's hard to do that when you're just looking at them, you know, through a camera or when you're looking at them in person and through a camera. And so what we did is we had these Padlets. So next page, Erin. What we did is we had these Padlets and we used them for collaboration. So Padlet allows guests to kind of create their own pages and collaborate with each other. So they engage with not only us, but they engage with each other and the materials that we have without really having to be vocal about it. So it's really interesting. As I was kind of preparing for this presentation, I ran across this one article by Beth Fuchs. I hope I'm saying her name right. If you're on this call, I apologize. But she was talking about how when you're presenting to a class, a lot of times when you're trying to engage people, they'll think that their thoughts are not well formed. And so they don't want to vocalize those thoughts, which I find a lot of times when I'm going in for one shots and stuff like that, a lot of students, they don't like to engage. And I thought about this and I was like, yeah, well, a lot of students, they're afraid to speak up. And they think that what they're going to say is either stupid or they're, it's not well formed. And so they don't want to say it. And so I think Padlet kind of gives that in between of, well, even if their thought is not well formed, they can, afraid to be wrong sometimes. Yes. Even if their thought is not well formed, they can put it on there. And if you don't have a Padlet account, it's anonymous. And so nobody knows who's saying that. And so it kind of allows that interaction and engagement without being wrong, without having to kind of put yourself out there. And, it helps connect those who are in person and those who are online. So you can have that conversation with somebody that you may not know, and kind of continue that conversation without having to either disrupt the class or disrupt anything and engage in those conversations. So it was really helpful, and it brought about conversations that I don't think we would have had they just been lectures, had we just been standing in front of them talking about, well, this is AI and this is what it means, and stuff like that. So I think it really brought about this engagement that we really liked. Next slide, please. So these are some of the Padlets that we had. I would go to them, but we had to pay for a little bit, and I don't know if they're still active for some of us. So we did a couple that were really popular, and so we made games out of some of them. So this is an AI evaluation game that we did, and it was kind of like Jeopardy. So we did famous quotes, House of Mouse, textual context, and then peopling. And basically what we did is we had things that were AI generated and things that were not generated. And the people that came to this one had to go in and vote. So the amount of stars it had decided whether it was AI or not. So 5 stars meant that it was human content, and then the less stars it had meant that it was AI content. And this was really fun. The people that came to this workshop really enjoyed it, like a weird amount of enjoyment. I really enjoyed it too. Erin was the one who put it together, so I only knew about a couple of them that I sent her for the different categories. So some of them I didn't know whether they were AI content or not. And some of them were really hard. For me, the textual contexts and the peopling were really hard, because I'm really bad apparently at figuring out whether it was AI content or not. With the peopling, you really got to look at the hands, because AI is really bad at hands. Okay, so next one, Erin. And then we did rating AI tools. So again, kind of the same concept of the Jeopardy kind of game. Instead of the content, also really bad at eyes. Instead of the content, we're looking at rating the AI tools. So they went to the AI tools themselves. They put in their own content, and then they had to rate what features they liked about it, what features they disliked about it, limitations of the tools, any features that they didn't, that we didn't mention, what features they would like to see in it, how they would use the tool and stuff like that. And so these were the 2 tools that, or the 2 Padlets that we got the most interaction in. And so we really enjoyed these, and I think we're going to take these to our next series of workshops, which leads me to the next slide, please. For fall 2024, we're switching it up a little bit. We're hitting on a couple different topics. So we're going to do, of course, an overview and a critical examination. And we're going to be evaluating generative AI and AI tools. But then we're going to talk about AI and popular imagination. So we're going to look at how we as a people envision our AI should be. So how in popular culture we see AI, and then how we actually are implementing AI, and then how AI and democracy kind of work together, and then how AI and responsible tech work together. So really excited about how this series is going to be going into 2024. And next up, we have Josh.
Hello, I'm Josh. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Librarian, and I got to participate with a few of these workshops. And just like Jenny and Aaron indicated, we were able to, through this active learning format, really foment a discussion. And throughout the discussions I participated in, I kind of found some themes that were salient in what was going on in the minds of faculty, graduate and undergraduate students who are utilizing and becoming experts in AI. And I just want to say I am not an expert in AI and on the outset, but I am interested in, since my areas are history, philosophy, and museum heritage sciences, how they intersect with the humanities. So questions arose during the series about what it means to be human, especially as AI is increasingly becoming more adept at mimicking human behavior. And the blurring kind of led us to question held beliefs about our consciousness, empathy, and the boundaries between human and machine. It also led us to questions about ethical dilemmas in authorship. As AI mimics or even robs from human inputs to generate works such as literature, music, and art. And who owns the right to this generated content? And can AI really be considered a creator? And we had a discussion around there that was never really quite got to a definitive phase, but we entered that. But we also saw that even though the above items really give us pause, there can be benefits as well. The integration of AI and humanities gives us an opportunity to foster an environment for interdisciplinary collaboration between technologists, artists, scholars, and ethicists. And it has the potential to generate innovative solutions to complex societal challenges and deepen our understanding of human nature and culture. There's also the opportunities as AI is in preserving and digitizing artifacts, texts, and languages that are at risk of being lost. Opportunities there to preserve them. However, it has the potential to influence and also perhaps impose cultural narratives or interpretations, giving us cause to concern about authenticity and diversity of cultural expressions in the digital age. There's also the ability to have new modes of expression or enlightenment. It gives us new forms of artistic expression and storytelling that might even further blur the boundaries between human and machine. This challenges the traditional notions of authorship and the role of artists in society, leading to debates about the value and significance of AI-generated art. Even given this, AI tools have the capability of analyzing large data sets and historical texts, literature, and cultural artifacts to uncover patterns, trends, and insights that were previously inaccessible to human scholars. However, this opens new avenues for research and interpretation, but challenges traditional methods of analysis and interpretation. Our concluding thought kind of echoes Krista Ratcliffe, the chair of the Department of English at Arizona State University. Students are currently using AI in English classes and others, I might add, to brainstorm topics, to get help with researching, organizing and editing their papers, and solicit advice about second language use. In these ways, AI can serve as a powerful innovation tool. But students need to develop critical capacities of AI literacy so that they may evaluate AI inputs or outputs, as well as how and when to use them effectively. And that was a conversation that really surrounded faculty and academia as we continue to use these tools in our classrooms. I'll turn this back over to Erin.
All right, so I did see there was a question about attendance and how many staff, faculty, and students attended. So we did have 2 to 3 undergraduate students attend. We had, but it was during lunchtime and on Wednesdays, and food, we have a food truck circle here. So the food trucks were all outside. So, you know, depending upon the day, most people stayed outside. Over the course of the series, we did have like 200 people sign up for all, like, I think maybe 200 and I'll have to look exactly what numbers there were. There were over 200 that signed up over the course of the series. A lot of people signed up for multiple sessions. I did send recordings out after, but I would say it was like half graduate students and half faculty and staff. A lot of the graduate students on our campus also teach. So like, I think a lot of them are really interested in that and or using it for their research. Now, something Josh had mentioned about people wanting to use like and evaluate things from like ChatGPT or those summary documents, there's more evidence coming out that those things do not work very well, right? So like if you put in a like, please summarize this PDF for me, there's research coming out saying, hey, it's kind of like not good at that. It might be able to pick out like one sentence from the abstract and like one random sentence later on, but it's not good at putting main ideas together in the same way that humans are. I see that there's other questions here, so let's see.
There are people wanting to sign up for our things. They're open to everybody, are they not?
They,
Erin.
I believe at the moment you have to have a Texas Tech.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I
I
thought
think
they were open to everybody.
but since y'all seem to be interested in it and you want to attend this year, we can share that link with you. If you let me see, because I don't think it's on our
Oh, I
calendar.
see that now. I see that
Yeah,
now. I
so contact, if
apologize.
you really want to come, contact me, Jenny, or Josh, and we'll
Yeah,
send
and we can send
you
you the Zoom link.
the Zoom link because it's just to my Zoom, and it would, you know, if you guys are interested in it, we can do that. The links to the recordings, okay, so what happens here is that those recordings get put into MediaSite because MediaSite allows for closed captioning. We have our students do closed captioning because the AI things we don't really have yet do a very good job. And even sometimes like the Zoom capture AI isn't great either. We've been trying to, like she said, we've been doing this in person as well as online. So we've been using a room upstairs and it's not like the greatest for recordings, but if you want recordings, you can again ask us and be happy to share.
Yeah, we're happy to share.
I do think I have them in Zoom, so I could share those Zoom recordings if you need. Although they might be also hiding behind a password. I'll have to check my settings on each one, that's all. Other
But
questions?
yeah, if you want the links to either the recordings or to come to the actual event, we can send you those links. So just email one or all of us and we'll be able to do that. Sorry about that. I thought anybody could sign up, so
No, that's okay. And if they're interested, I did start to kind of create a course like based on all of this stuff. I've put things into modules. I'm kind of hoping maybe next year I'll be able to do a Lily presentation on that. But yeah, so we've got lots of plans here for things. Thanks, Marcia. Yeah, we'll get that for you. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me or Jenny or Josh. We've got one more person joining our group this year. Her name is Shelby. She'll be helping us in the fall as well. Yeah, any other questions?
All right. It seems like we are good to go. Thank you so much for that awesome presentation. That was great to learn about and very inspiring. And so we are going to